Hi everyone, happy Luminalia. Sneemaster here with a review of the new Drake Cutter Rambler. The Rambler is a starter ship RV variant of the Cutter series, designed for long, slightly more comfortable journeys. It was just released flyable with patch 3.22. It's pretty much a space Winnebago with guns. That sounds familiar. Anyway, the Rambler is generally the same shape and size as the other variants, with a few changes. It has different stabilizers at the rear, plus there is an extra fuel storage on the top of the ship. The interior is reworked to give it more functionality for long trips. The Rambler is 20 meters long, 13 meters wide, and 6 meters high, larger than an Aurora and smaller than a Nomad. The ship is still designed for a crew of one, but has seating for more. The cockpit has a single seat that lifts up for better visibility. There is great side and upwards visibility, although the view downwards is blocked by the dashboard and controls. The cockpit also has component access points as well as a small gun rack. Behind the cockpit are the living quarters, which is set up differently than other variants. On one side, there is still a bed and a small maintenance spot for a fire extinguisher and possible other uses. Next to the bed is a suit storage locker, and there is also a gun rack on this side for large and small guns. On the other side is the bathroom, which functions as toilet, shower, and sink. On the wall is a table with a bench to sit on for one person. Next to that is a kitchen device to process foods and a shelf to put food and drinks. After that, there is a jump seat on the wall for an extra person to sit down at. Behind the living quarters is the cargo bay. It has cargo plating for 2 SEO of cargo stacked vertically. There is also more component access here and a ramp, which is the only entrance to the ship. You can store small ground vehicles in the cargo bay. Unlike the other variants, you have to fit the vehicles carefully since the cargo bay is smaller. You can fit the Grey Cat PTV easily in the Rambler. Larger vehicles like the Grey Cat STV and the Drake Mule fit, but you have to park a little from the door. And in the case of the STV, park in backwards and leave space on the side to walk in. Vehicles like the Tumbril Cyclone or Grey Cat Rock don't fit in as they are too wide. You can also fit all hover vehicles in the Rambler, aside from the Drake Dragonfly. Just make sure to back them in instead of going in forward. The Rambler has one size 1 shield generator, Civilian Class B. Like other Cutter variants, the Rambler has large hull strength, about 3 times the strength of an Aurora. It also has a size 1 radar and size 1 power plant, like the base Cutter. The Rambler has 3 size 1 hydrogen fuel tanks and 3 size 1 quantum fuel tanks, an extra fuel tank of each type compared to the other variants, although currently we don't see the extra fuel in-game yet, probably just a bug in patch 3.22. There is a size 1 quantum drive, competition class B. The Rambler has a combat speed of 160 meters a second and a max speed of 1050 meters a second. Not exactly the fastest ship or the most maneuverable, but it has VTOL engines to help take off from areas with heavier gravity as well as helping with hovering. For weapons, the Rambler has the same weapons as the other variants. It has 2 size 2 weapon hardpoints with gimbal size 1 laser repeaters. You can remove the gimbals to get size 2 guns, but as the Rambler is not very agile, you will struggle to hit smaller ships like fighters with the fixed guns. Size 1 guns aren't very tough, but they're enough to get you out of trouble. The Rambler also has 2 size 2 missile hardpoints. By default, they have dual size 1 missiles each, but you can replace them with single size 2 missile launchers instead. There aren't a lot of missiles on the Rambler, but you can use them to drop the shields on smaller targets or hit ground targets. The Rambler goes for $50 in store credit or $45 war bond in time-limited sales. You can't buy the ship in-game yet, but will probably be able to do so in a future patch like 3.23. The Rambler has a gray paint with yellow highlights, but it can use any paint the other Cutters use. There are a ton of paints you can get for the Cutter series. Subscribers can buy the red and white Hosanna paint, the blue and white Aspire paint, or the red and orange Central Tower paint. Concierge members can get the brown striped Cliffhanger paint, the gray and orange Groundswell paint, and the black and blue Nightfall paint. There is the spooky green Ghoulish green paint, only available to buy during the day of the Vara. Everyone attending Luminalia this year gets the light green and dark green Deck the Hall paint, as well as the shiny blue and white Icebreak paint. Finally, everyone can buy the following paints from the store at any time: the gray and pink striped Carnival paint, the yellow light beam paint, the gray and yellow Pyrite paint, the white and gray Wind Chill paint, the gray and striped orange Rock Slide paint, the brown and orange Tectonic paint, and the shiny silver Noble paint, which is my favorite. The Drake Cutter Rambler is a relatively comfortable starter ship for those that like to explore on a budget. Comfortable is relative for Drake ships, of course. It's not as fancy as Origin ships or as comfortable as Consolidated Outland ships, but it works well and it doesn't cost a lot. The extra fuel tanks means you will be able to travel farther than some other starter ships, at least once CIG fixes them. You can explore distant planets or do some light tourism with the Rambler. You can take a friend with you and carry a ground vehicle like the STV with 2 seats for some fun driving. The Rambler is great for doing ground-based bounty hunting missions. You have extra seats for friends, lots of gun racks, storage for suits and gear, and can carry a small ground vehicle. You can also use the Rambler for picking up a couple of passengers with the bench and the jump seat. That works well for rescuing players that are stranded too. You can also use the Rambler as a tiny troop dropship for missions with the vehicle's storage and the 2 extra seats. It's not amazing, but you can use the guns and missiles to help clear landing zones from enemy infantry at least. You can use the Rambler for small cargo missions, although the 2 SU storage is not very much. You can carry cargo inside the living quarters, but only smaller boxes, and they may roll around a bit. It might be more lucrative for smuggling missions or small handheld cargo missions. You could use the Rambler to fly long distances to scout for ships or minerals, although the radar is not very powerful. The Rambler could be used for light salvage missions as long as you have a handheld tractor beam. You can fly long range and carry the cargo back in the small cargo bay. Remember, the Rambler is not a heavy combat ship. You might be able to take out some light fighters, but any decent player will be able to knock down your single-size 1 shield quickly, and then take out your main engines too. That'll leave you disabled in space, or worse, falling out of the sky. Because of these issues, it's not very good for piracy or military groups, except for small combat drops. Either avoid areas with lots of enemies or bring lots of friends with ships. Also be careful traveling in systems with solar flares like Pyro. The single-size 1 shield won't resist the flares very well. You also can't carry any ground mining vehicles like the Rock, so hand mining is the most you can do with the ship. A few tips: the quantum drive is a little slow though, so you may want to upgrade the drive to a faster one, and probably upgrade the shield to something a little stronger too. I do like the aesthetics of the Rambler, and it's a great ship for traveling in. The ship is probably the cheapest ship you can get with full living quarters, plus cargo and vehicle storage too. Similar ships like the Mustang Beta don't carry cargo or vehicles, while the consolidated Outland Nomad is more expensive, plus it has external cargo that is exposed. None of them have an extra jump seat for friends either, so I'd say the Rambler is a good all-around starter ship for the price. I hope you all get the chance to try it out.
There's only one man who would dare give me the raspberry.
Chris Roberts.
Alright, so that's it for the Drake Cutter Rambler review. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. You can use my referral code if you decide to jump into Star Citizen, and you'll get 5,000 extra in-game credits. Plus, remember this month we have the referral bonus with all the gear and ship paint too. Here's a big thank you to my current patrons. Please check out my Patreon membership to help me make more videos. All patrons and members will have their names listed at the end of my videos and get access to my Discord channel. Patrons and members also have the first pick on the next item I'll cover, so feel free to sign up and let me know what you'd like to see next. Okay, catch you all next time.